This is Matt for Boxing Social in association with Empire Fight Store. I'm delighted for the first time in 2023 to be joined by Mr. Dean Whyte. Dean.
Empire who?
Empire Fight Store.
What's going on? You moved again?
I haven't moved. I've moved from Into to Boxing Social.
Into?
But then Empire sponsor Boxing Social.
Okay, sorry. I was lost for a couple of seconds. I thought, what the hell?
I move about a bit.
Okay.
First off, Sophia, how are you? How are you getting on?
Yeah, I'm here slowly but surely, man, you know. Thought I'd come out to my first event for a little while and, you know, familiarise myself with the boxing fraternity. There's some good fights on, so yeah, thought I'd try and come down and see what's going on.
You're no stranger to these events. You've seen many of them before. It got a bit personal between Chris Eubank Jr and Lenihan. What did you make of it? Everything that went on, the things that were said?
Yeah, some choice words. I don't know. He's saying it was. They're both saying it's personal, but I mean, I don't know if they said anything that was too bad. We've heard worse.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We've heard worse. So I mean, like, it's going to be an interesting fight. I mean, Liam's got a lot of experience. Is it Liam? Yeah, my brain's gone blank. Liam's got a lot of experience. Eubank's got a lot of experience. So I think it's a good fight. You know what I mean? The smaller man is obviously Smith, but he said size isn't really going to make a difference. But it's going to be interesting what kind of style Eubanks adopts, though, because he has adopted a Roy Jones-esque style, and then he's got another style. So it's going to be interesting because he comes forward. That particular Smith comes forward, likes to work the body, which is always good, and he tucks up well, and he comes to let his hands go. So I think it's going to be a very interesting fight, man.
What does Chris need to do, in your opinion, to win this fight? Like you mentioned there, the Roy Jones style, but people know Chris for his relentlessness. He's got a good engine, he can go 12 rounds, rarely gets buzzed, granite chin. Is the key for Chris winning this fight to sort of full steam ahead and put the pressure on from minute one? How do you see it?
Do you know what? I don't know if that is because it's going to be two bulls in a china shop because Smith is going to come forward. I don't think they're going to have to go looking for him. I think he's going to come forward as he does. And it's going to make for an interesting fight. I feel like, what was it, 12 rounder, right? I think they need, obviously Eubank probably needs to be a bit smart, try and feel out and see what he's got to offer and what he's going to do, see what kind of power he holds. But look, you know what I look at? I kind of look at Eubanks was in with George Groves, big, strong puncher.
Big puncher,
yeah. And, you know, if nothing didn't do too much chink in his armour there, I don't really see much here. But saying that, the body work and the relentlessness to the body, what Smith does, is something totally different. So, you know, in some of the interviews we've heard, you know, he doesn't like it to the body, he's got hurt in sparring and so. And if those are true, you know, that's another thing we've got to contend with. So it'll be, like I said, it's going to be interesting. It's quite a tasty fight. I was kind of intrigued to see, so I thought I'd make my way down.
Who do you think wins the fight?
I think it's a real solid fight, you know.
50-50, isn't it?
I feel, no, seriously, I think there's so many arguments for each guys, and I think both guys' boxing IQ and experiences, you know. Leon's been at that high level for a long time. He was undefeated for a long time. I know he lost to Canelo. Who else is he?
Jaime Munguia.
And Munguia, Munguia's another little monster as well, so big puncher. So, I mean, like, and then Eubanks is the same, only lost to elite guys, you know what I mean? So this is such a tight, and I don't think there's much in it. I think it's the one who can hold their head the most and don't let those emotions get to them. You know, all that talk up there, they're talking about it's got personal and this and that.
Families were mentioned, people's sexuality, everything.
All of those kind of things, you know. And I think, to be honest, Eubanks is quite a Jedi master at mind games, so I feel like he might hold it together a little bit more, and Liam will come out with that aggression and with that fuel and fire and just come forward. But like I said, he's shown his durability in past. But I mean, Chris does punch a little bit. I don't think he's the biggest puncher, but he got a little whack. He is the bigger man, so it'll be interesting.
Another fight on the card, cracker, Ekow, Essuman, Chris Kongo.
Very, very
Talk to me about that fight. British title, great fight.
Is it Commonwealth, European title as well? Hell of a fight. Obviously, Chris is a little bit bigger than him, and it's a really good fight, you know. And that's another reason I came down to watch that fight, because I was thinking, shit, the engine is the real engine, the epitome of the engine, throws punches in bunches, and it's going to be interesting to see how Chris deals with that. Chris is good, long boxer, strong, and you know, does what he does. So it's going to be interesting. But he's pretty strong and he's big for the weight. So it's going to be interesting again to see how Ekow handles that. But I mean, look, Sam Antwerp's a very good fighter, and that was a really good fight between them.
Yeah.
So this, he's I don't know. I think maybe he has had, I think, they're more experienced and better fights.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see how, Kongo deals with that. So let's see.
Moving away from this card, another fight that looks to be just about done, touch wood, bloody well hope it is Gervonta Davis, Ryan Garcia. Gervonta has just come off another great knockout. He's a superstar now in boxing. Ryan Garcia's got that huge social media following, and I think he's still waiting for that fight to make him maybe the boxing superstar without taking anything away from him. How do you see that fight going? It's a great matchup.
It's a very great matchup. What I would say is in that fight, boxing, you're not going to go to the pool and not get wet. So I was going to say he was getting caught quite a lot in that, but this is boxing. Yeah. Styles meets fights. I think he was facing a southpaw, was he? The last. It
was Hector Garcia.
Yeah, but he was southpaw. I think he was southpaw. So it is always tricky when you face a southpaw. But the thing is, you can't allow Ryan Garcia to get away with those kind of punches. Yeah. He's got speed and he can crack. So it's going to be interesting. But he's not southpaw, is he?
Who?
Garcia.
Ryan Garcia.
He is fucking no. So yeah, it's going to be a tricky contest. But he's got that power to get him out of jail. So like I said, it's going to be a huge fight, and I'll be intrigued to see the winner. Who do
you think wins? Do you think in that fight it's down to can Garcia stand up to what Gervonta brings? Because Garcia is the bigger man in that fight. Yeah. But how do you see it? Is that the question?
Of course, but then it's look. There's vulnerabilities there. Look, we saw Luke Campbell knock him down. So he does make mistakes. He's human. But like I said, he's very fast. He's very sharp.
He's orthodox. I don't know what I'm talking about. Because you said that then. I'm thinking myself. I know that's what I mean, but I question myself because of this. Yeah, box X down as orthodox, but
it's all good.
He can fight. What other fights do you want to see happen this year? As someone who now, like you said, promoter in the game as well, playing on your own.
My head's not really with thinking too far ahead about the fights. Whatever fights are made, they'll be intriguing and they'll be interesting. So I'm happy to see whatever's available. I heard Joshua might fight Franklin, and that's a very interesting fight because it's a good gauger to see where Joshua is in his comeback. I'd like him to come back and win in good fashion and find himself. But Franklin showed his durability, his skill set, his speed, and his toughness. So I'll be interested to see how he does in that fight, if that fight's made, because it's a good gauge where he is. Obviously, Dillian went the distance with him, i.e. Dillian was boxing to orders, use your jab, go to the body and so on. But Dillian had to fight in the championship round to solidify that win. So, I mean, good fight. So I'm not really thinking too far, but because it was in my brain and,
Been talked about in it as well.
Yeah, so other than that, that's something I'm looking forward to.
Right, talk about yourself, your promotion, Black Box. When's the next show? How excited are you for it? Big events.
So we've got a big calendar for the next 6-7 months. We've got a show every month until the end of July. I want to keep myself busy. I want to keep my fighters busy, and keep my brain active. And so I've got things to focus on. So we've got a show February the 11th at Tolworth. It's going to be another good card stacked, and then from then we've got March the 12th. We've got April the 15th and so on, many more dates. So we're stacked, and we've got a few titles, so we're moving in the right direction. We're making the right choices and decisions, and God willing, they go off without a hitch, and we continue to grow and develop.
Touch wood for you, everything works out. Look, if you haven't been to one of his shows, get yourself down there, banging atmosphere, a night of entertainment, and you're doing your thing. Look, Dean.
Good nights of fights.
Absolutely, as well, yeah, and a great night of fights. Look, Dean, appreciate you talking to Boxing Social. Wish you all the best, and we'll catch up again soon.
Cheers. Thanks very much.